Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough: the hidden emotional reality of cancer recovery and actually finding your new normal. Society loves a clean resolution, especially when it comes to health. We tend to think of illness as having a clear beginning, a really scary middle, and a definitive, neat little end. But as we're going to see today through our source material, the psychological reality of recovery, it's way more complex than just a simple medical timeline. We're going to explore what actually happens in your mind and your heart long after the medical treatments are successfully in the rearview mirror.
So listen to this. You've rung the bell, your scans are clear, and everyone says you're fine. I mean, that sounds absolutely amazing, right? It's the ultimate victory. It's quite literally the exact moment every single patient dreams of from day one of their diagnosis. But let's just slow down for a second. So why do you still feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop? If you're watching this and you're feeling that jarring, almost dizzying disconnect between those two sentences right now, I really want to take a moment to deeply validate that for you. It is entirely common to have this profoundly unsettled feeling, even when your medical charts are practically screaming that you're completely in the clear.
Let's move into Section 1, the 5-year milestone myth.
What we're looking at here is the core dissonance between physical health and emotional fear. The expectation is so simple, isn't it? You ring the bell, you get those clear scans, and the doctors say you're completely fine. Boom, done. But the reality? The reality is often marked by this lingering, heavy anxiety. You are quite literally waiting for that other shoe to drop. It's like you're cured on paper, but your nervous system totally missed the memo. The body keeps the score, and honestly, it's still holding its breath.
Take a deep breath here. Is it normal to still feel like a patient 5 years later? Look, if you're watching this and you've been silently asking yourself this exact question in the middle of the night, I want to look you in the eye and tell you directly, yes, it is completely, absolutely normal. Your feelings are 100% justified. You are not somehow doing recovery wrong just because you still feel tethered to your diagnosis long after the calendar pages have turned.
Moving right along to Section 2, expectation versus the reality.
Let's look really closely at this seemingly innocent phrase, everyone says you're fine. Think about the immense pressure and the heavy burden encapsulated in just that one tiny word, fine. The outside world, our friends, our families, even our coworkers, they so desperately want you to be okay. And because of that, they just assume that clear physical scans instantly equal a completely cured mindset. They project this massive expectation onto you because, well, they want to celebrate. But having everyone around you declare that you are fine can actually feel incredibly isolating when your internal reality is still actively grappling with trauma.
And this brings us back to that powerful metaphor for the hypervigilance that persists, waiting for the other shoe to drop. When you've spent months, or maybe even years, in pure survival mode fighting an illness, your brain becomes literally wired for threat detection. It doesn't just turn off because the doctor gave you a thumbs up and a smile. Your mind remains caught in this protective loop. It's constantly scanning the horizon for the next piece of bad news, which makes true, genuine relaxation feel almost impossible.
Which brings us to Section 3, the little seed of fear.
Picture it like a tiny little seed of fear. It perfectly captures how this lingering doubt stays planted right in the back of your mind. It's just quietly growing despite the passage of time. You might go weeks feeling great, completely forgetting about it. And then, bam, a minor ache in your back, a routine follow-up appointment, or honestly just a random Tuesday, and suddenly that seed is watered. The fear sprouts right back up to the surface. It's a very quiet but very persistent passenger on your journey.
So why does that seed stay planted so deeply? Well, it really comes down to the patient identity. This is the psychological state of remaining on guard and feeling tied to the label of a patient, even years after being medically cleared. The huge takeaway from our source material here is that being medically cleared does not instantly erase your psychological identity. Think about it. For a long time, being a patient was literally your full-time job. It was your core identity and exactly how you survived. You can't just flip a switch and turn that identity off overnight. That is exactly why that little seed of fear survives.
Okay, let's bring it all together in Section 4, a lifelong healing journey.
We really have to stop viewing recovery as this rigid checklist that just magically ends at the 5-year mark. The myth tells you there's a clear finish line, but the reality tells you this is a lifelong journey. And honestly, this shift in perspective is everything. It means you haven't failed at recovery just because you're still worrying today. You are simply walking the path of a lifelong journey of living after trauma.
We actually need to redefine the very concept of recovery into a new normal.
It's all about acknowledging that life after cancer is an ongoing journey that integrates both the joy of clear scans and the active management of those lingering fears. It fully validates the duality of your experience. You can be physically fine and celebrating your health, while at the exact same time you are actively managing your psychological trauma. Both things are true, and both things totally belong in your new normal. You do not have to choose between them.
So let's summarize how to practically navigate this reality day to day. First, acknowledge that little seed of fear. Don't hide from it, see it for exactly what it is. Second, accept that recovery is a lifelong journey, not a quick sprint to the finish line. Third, validate feeling like a patient even 5 years later. Seriously, give yourself the absolute ultimate grace for that. And finally, redefine what fine actually means to you. On your own terms, not the terms forced upon you by society's expectations.
Which brings us to our final essential thought for you to carry forward today. How will you navigate your new normal and embrace the lifelong journey today? Because you know what? You have the incredible power to define this next chapter of your life. The bell has been rung, the scans are clear, and the psychological journey ahead is entirely yours to shape and own. Take a deep breath, give yourself the tremendous grace you deserve, and confidently step forward into your new normal.